Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Amelia. I'm from 5A English Education Department at UIN Raden Masaid Surakarta. Today, I would like to explain you about my lesson plan. So let's get started. So my lesson plan is made for 11th grade high school in Sragen Senior High School. This lesson plan uses ADDIE model. The subject on this lesson plan is English course and I pick narrative text material. I plan this lesson plan with 4 weeks, start from 1st December 2021 until 2022 December 2021. This course is designed to teach narrative text to students who want to get their final score in English subject at Sragen Senior High School. I will only teach the definition of narrative text, generic structure, kind of narrative text, and the language feature in narrative text. The goal of this course is to teach these students the adequate narrative text because of its differences from another text. Learners are expected to pass this course assessment with a minimum 75% out of 100%. In the first phase or analysis, students will introduce themselves through a memory game. Why I choose memory game? Because memory games can improve other brain functions such as attention, concentration, and focus. Memory games give space to critical thinking and that helps learners nurture their attention to detail. During the analysis phase, I have created the following question. Number 1, have you studied the narrative text? When? Where? Number 2, what do you know about the narrative text? Number 3, do you know the examples of narrative text? Give me examples. And the last, what are your expectations in this course? These questions are focused on getting different vital pieces of information. The first question allows me to know when learners have studied narrative text and where they learn about it. The second question enables me to know the prior knowledge that my students have on this topic. This information will help me identify, analyze, getting information, obtain ideas, decide what the starting point is, and teach and reinforce it. The third question will show me whether the learner domain the examples of narrative text. It will help me introduce new examples of narrative text into their lesson and encourage my students to share their knowledge with their peers. The final question will provide me an overview of what learners want to learn and how they want to learn. Furthermore, learners expect to understand and learn as much as possible to increase their language competencies and get the highest score. In the second phase or design, after collecting data, I have decided to create 4-week course based on the timeline provided to me by my academic director. I created a syllabus with relevant information about the course. In week 1, students will join a memory game. Let's introduce ourselves. And there's 3 activities. There are Activity 1, Forum on the Narrative Text. Activity 2, Create mind mapping about the generic structures, kinds of narrative text, and language feature in narrative text. Why I choose mind mapping? Because one of the advantages mind mapping is because it helps with meaningful meaning and can make connection between new and existing knowledge. The next is exercises on the generic structure of narrative text. Next, exercises on the language feature of narrative text. And the activity 3 is quiz generic structure of narrative text. In week 2, I will make activity 4 until activity 7. Activity 4 is quiz language feature of narrative text. Activity 5, correct the quiz. Activity 6, assignment part 1 on the narrative text, write the orientation and complication paragraph. Activity 7, correct the orientation and complication paragraph. In week 3, I make 3 activities, activity 8 until activity 10. Activity 8, Assignment Part 2 on the narrative text, write the resolution paragraph. Activity 9, Assignment Part 3 on the narrative text, write the coda or reorientation paragraph. Activity 10, correct the resolution and coda or reorientation paragraph. In the last meeting on the last week, in week 4, I created 3 activities. Activity 11, video presentation on the narrative text. Activity 12, question about the writing activity. And activity 13, final writing and presenting the writing project on the narrative text. This learning have general and specific objective. There are general objective, know the generic structure and language feature of the narrative text. Meanwhile, the specific objective is distinguish between the generic structure and language feature of the narrative text, can write and create their own narrative text, and can presenting their own narrative text. In the development phase, the way of professor or instructor introduce the lesson is a crucial factor for getting the expected result. During the development, I would prepare myself to make my best performance and assist my students in the way they demand. I will provide concise material such as videos or images that's understandable and rightly related to the topic. Images support the contents accurately. I would use appropriate technological tools such as exciting and useful videos and interactive activities to keep the students engaged and motivated. In the implementation, I would have all the materials and resources such as online explanation, online exercises, video presentation, internet links, or other materials available. Cite in advance, do not waste valuable time. If computer programs are required, I would have them installed in the computer class or ask the student to have this program on their computers previously. I would consider my students' learning style and knowledge background to help them improve through the classes as smoothly as possible. I will try to assign tasks that lead students from easy to more complex content. In contrast, the students get confident to participate naturally and feel actively responsible and motivated to go forward. In the last phase, or evaluation, on the first day of class, I would ask my students their expectation in this course, discuss the syllabus with them to get their opinions and feelings about it, and make modification if necessary. During the course, I would ask my students what they know and what they want to know on the narrative text, and I will note them for future references. Besides, I would use exercises such as guessing the generic structure and the language feature of narrative text, order even chronologically, listening for identifying the generic structure of narrative text, writing sentences and paragraphs, and short quizzes to check achievement of the course. At the end of the course, I would ask my students what they learned. I would use this time to ask my students what they would have liked to learn, their consideration about the technological tool used. Also, if the activities were meaningful and appealing, what activities they would suggest to change or add, and what tools and resources they would prefer to use. Both a formative and summative evaluation will help me reflect on my performance to make modification, change things, and make valuable decisions for better performance and course design and delivery. Okay, that's all for my explain about my lesson plan. If I have mistake, I am very sorry. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.